All right, so I'm doing this video like you guys requested in response to the discussion of using mayonnaise versus butter on a grilled cheese sandwich. And that all came from the TikTok video of the woman who learned a different way to flip a grilled cheese sandwich in the pan. So we are going to be doing some grilled cheese. We're using a couple of kinds of cheese. So that's the cheese. We got some bacon that I just fried up on the griddle. We got a couple of kinds of bread. We're going to use some Texas toast, and then we're going to use some of this Publix White Mountain bread from their bakery that was baked yesterday. And we got, not sure if I'll get to it or not. We'll see how long this takes, but I've got some hard, sharp cheddar cheese that I was going to grate up to put on top of one of the sandwiches and kind of give it a little crusty exterior. And we got our Duke's mayonnaise. Now, for those of you who say butter is better, I can even do one with butter. I've got the Carrie's Irish butter there. I got a brand new thing of it, and I'm getting to room temperature. So let's go ahead and get started making some grilled cheese. All right, so as we get into this here, we're going to be taking a regular knife. We're not going to use the front side, we're going to use the back side of the knife. We got our mayo. A few slices of bread here. We got our cheese ready to go, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. A little squirt. I'm not talking about putting gobs of mayonnaise on this thing. Just enough to coat the surface lightly. And by not using the front side of the knife, I'm not going to tear that soft bread up, because this is very soft bread. All right, see all that excess coming off there? I don't want that. And I don't know if y'all remember or not, but I do not like mayonnaise. I don't care for it. I don't like it. I think it's gross. I think it tastes gross. I'm not a big fan of mayonnaise. But it is good for this, and it is good for the Alabama, well, the white sauce from Decatur, Alabama. And if you're gonna have to do something with it for like pasta salad or whatever as an ingredient in the pasta salad, fine, but I just don't like mayonnaise. Don't put mayonnaise on my sandwiches. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't like mayonnaise. But now, I'm gonna do some of this bread right here with a big old piece of this bread. I'm gonna do this with butter. Not anymore. I've got the griddle on behind me. I'm not going to use a frying pan. I'm going to do it on the griddle. I cleaned all the grease off from the bacon, but this way we can get all the sandwiches on there at the same time, right? And cook everything together. So we'll be able to cook this one. And again, put the butter on here. I'm not doing huge amounts of butter. We're going to smear it in real good as he proceeds to put a huge amount of butter on there. But the idea is also not to overwhelm the bread with liquid, because you know it get all soggy and soft, and so that's the idea is not to do that. And I am not anti-butter. I like butter. I think butter is great. And this is full strength Irish butter that I'm using right here. So I'm a big fan of butter. And not saying you can't make a grilled cheese that way. It makes a fine grilled cheese, but you can't put too much on it. You can't put gobs of it on there. So there's the butter. And let's go ahead and get started with laying some cheese in there. So again, remember I've got Vermont cheddar and I got Munster. Munster actually melts a whole lot better, but I don't think it's quite as flavorful as cheddar is. So also great is your standard American cheese, which is really good for melting. And then my wonderful partner has asked me to make her a grilled cheese sandwich with Velveeta. So I'm going to use a chunk of big block Velveeta inside some toast. I won't do that one right now, but I'll do that here in a few minutes and make her a big gooey grilled cheese with Velveeta. So it also works great in the sandwich, not on the outside. So let's go ahead and start laying some bread down, and we'll start laying some cheese down. All right, so I've got this griddle on medium, and I'm just going to start throwing some cheese down in here, folks. Put that one down as well. Cheddar on there. Cheddar's a little smaller than that Munster, but still fits the sandwich. There we go. This fancy bread. This is on basically on medium heat. So when you're doing it in a frying pan, put it on medium to medium low heat. That's going to let some of this harder cheese melt a little better than if you just scorch the absolute shit out of the outside of the bread and your cheese in the middle isn't melted. So you want it on medium to medium low, depending on your kind of stove. This is on, yeah, it's on medium, and you can kind of hear it popping a little bit, not a whole bunch, but a little bit. Let's get some Munster on that one too. That, and on this one, there's some bacon on there. How about that? Always good to have some bacon on there. And that'll be pretty nice. Let's do one more piece of bacon on there because we can. There. Now, I'm no Gordon Ramsay or Jamie Oliver or any of these other fancy chefs. I'm not any of that. The guy likes to eat food and mess around in the kitchen. So, you know, this is not going to be the perfect sandwich according to them, I guess, but I was taught to use mayonnaise a long time ago to make your sandwich golden and crunchier than you do with butter. And we're going to see how it comes out. All right, so now we're going to give them a little look-see back here and see how it's browning up. And the cheese is starting to stick together there. Well, it's starting to get there a little bit. Go ahead and start the other side, and we'll flip them back and forth a little bit over time here. So this one should be getting there as well. Not quite as dark, but start letting that cheese melt on that bacon so the sandwich will stick together. And then we'll come back and check in a few minutes. The other thing about this is when you're doing grilled cheese like this, butter is going to burn really quickly. It's going to go from being not done to about 4 seconds of perfection and then burnt to a fucking crisp. So you got to watch the butter ones, which is why you want to have a medium or medium low heat. For the other ones, the mayonnaise has a higher burning temperature, so it can withstand more heat. And so there's a bigger window for these things to get them perfect and have them be perfect. So you can also walk away from these. Don't like go take a bath or something, but you can walk away from these grilled cheeses. So The butter one you can't, but those you absolutely can. So anyway, we'll come back in a minute. So let's talk about bread choice here for a minute, because I like Texas toast for grilled cheese. And you know, because one thing you kind of want to do is you want to kind of mush them a little bit. You don't want to smash the absolute crap out of them. You don't want to run them over, but you want to smush them a little bit. And the thinner bread is going to get crunchier, which some people don't like. Some people want a soft, gooey grilled cheese. Others don't mind having a crispy, crunchy grilled cheese. But you can see right here, that is some of the cheese from inside the sandwich that melted. And so I'm going to go ahead and grate up some cheddar cheese and start putting it on here and cooking it. So we'll get this one will be the one with the cheese on the outside. And then these will just be plain old regular grilled cheeses. All right, so I just grated up some of this block of cheddar. And go ahead and start sprinkling that on there. And let that melt down a little bit. Get warm on there, and we'll grate up some more for the other side as well. And one reason I'm using smaller shreds is because I got this big old grater. You know, I mean, I could grate with the big stuff, but I think that the finer shreds melt a little better and are a little easier to handle. It melts a little faster as well. I just made about a couple of tablespoons of the cheddar cheese there. All right. Let's take another peek. See how these are coming out here. Turn that up a little bit. Let's see if I can stick this one over. There we go. We'll get that cheese on there too. Everybody's got a preference on how well done they want their grilled cheese to be, but let's get that like that. Get that kind of mixed up there. Some of those little holes, fill that in. Look at that. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. My mouth's starting to water. Can you imagine having done that with a pan full of butter? You try and flip your sandwich and you'd be getting that hot oil spattering all over you, the hot butter spilling all over you. So that's why, especially if you're gonna flip it, you don't butter the pan. Also, you can control how much butter soaks up into the bread if you're the one who's been putting it on there in the first place. So let's take a look at this and see how. I don't think that's quite ready yet. Let's see. It's looking pretty good. Let's flip that over. Shall we? Look at that. Look at that frond melting on there. Oh, coffee maker's done. So that's crispy cheese on the outside. We'll let the other side cook for a bit and we'll keep flipping it back and forth until we get it exactly the color that we want it to be. These are starting to get nice and golden brown. I'll probably just do that. All right, so we're getting there.
One other thing to talk about, which I didn't really kind of do here, is how much cheese you want to put inside. And I'll say this, that if you got a softer melting cheese, more of that's pretty good. The harder cheeses, the more of them you stack together inside. Like if you did like 5 or 6 slices of cheddar, it would take way longer to cook a sandwich to get them to all melt and be melty in the middle. So just something to think about there. While we look at this, how's this coming out here? No, it needs to go a little longer on that side. Starting to get there though. Hear that? So remember, this one's got butter on it because that's the She Who Completes Me's grilled cheese sandwich right there with the Velveeta in the middle. So that's the American Diner Classic. And then we've got these here, which I used mayonnaise on. They're starting to get there. And then this one was also butter, but then we put cheese on top of it. Let's check this out. That should be pretty good. Look at that. Look how good that looks. Hear that? That is so pretty. That's that white cheddar cheese. Look how nice that looks. With the bacon in the middle, we got some of this gooey Munster cheddar inside. Look at that, just oozing out the side of that thing. Look at that. Look how good that looks. And we have grilled cheese day today. Let's get this turned over here. These are probably about done. Could make them darker, but I think you guys get the idea. Again, done with mayonnaise, and I swear it does not taste like mayonnaise, y'all. I don't know what kind of mayonnaise y'all buying, what you're using, Hellmann's, whatever. Duke's is the way to go. Duke's does not have a really super strong mayonnaise-y flavor. It has more egg in it than other brands do, unless you get some super fancy store-bought. I mean, you know, some sort of mayo off the internet or whatever. But Duke's is the way to go. So anyway, we're gonna get these over to the countertop. We're gonna cut them open and we're gonna see what they look like. All right, let's cut that sucker open. Hear that crunch? It's real soft right there in the middle. There's fun on the other side as well. And that, my friends, is a grilled cheese. You got your bacon in there. You got your crispy, cheesy outside. And you've got your gooey, cheesy inside. So let's set that one out of the way for a minute. Let's get on to the next one. Now, these were the mayonnaise coated versions. I'll just go ahead and cut these. Hear that? Soft on the inside. Nice gooey cheese. You can see all that gooey cheese in there. We could always put more cheese in. You can always put a little more cheese in there if you want to, but that's not a bad looking sandwich. Remember, that's the cheddar and the Munster in there. Look at all that gooey cheese in there. So, can you put more? Yeah. Should we put more? Probably should have put more in there. But let's take a look at this next one. Let's see if this one's done. Hopefully this one's done. This is going to be the girlfriend's Velveeta Diner Classic. Let's take a look at that. Let's see how this one looks on the inside. Oh, look at that. Now that's a grilled cheese right there, folks. That's a grilled cheese. I'm going to get that one out to her right now, people.
All right, love.
Yay! Thank you.
You're welcome. It's very gooey and cheesy.
Oh yeah, that looks good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I love you.